letting me know that my grandmother, who raised me until I moved to the US, had passed away. I started crying because she was my grandmother. Also, I was the one who had to tell my dad that his mom had passed away. I called my husband and told him what was happening. He gave me the option if I wanted to just go home, which I regret now, but I stayed. Because again, I didn't want to ruin her day. The wedding happened and then the party. I left the party an hour before the event was over. My husband and other family members can confirm this. Well, COVID hit and I didn't see the family until spring. When I saw her, I just didn't want to talk to her because I was angry, which made the family wonder why I wasn't talking to her. So I texted her and I said we should talk and clear the air. We met for lunch and let me tell you, she blamed me for everything that went wrong at her wedding. That I had been a terrible friend and how dare I leave the wedding early. People had told her I left in the middle of the party. I mentioned to her that I didn't appreciate how she had been treating me and the fact that she called me a maid. What did she call her maid? Why did she say maid? She said, well, maid is the word for bridesmaid. LOL, I was starting to get angry, but I kept my cool because I didn't want to start crying. Then I mentioned to her that I left early because my grandmother had passed away. This is why I was so angry at her. She said, well, it's too bad that it will be the only thing you'll remember on my wedding day. Is that the reason why your parents didn't show up to my wedding? I don't remember anything that happened after that. I started crying and somehow ended up at my parents'. How can someone say that? I now can't stand to see her or be in the same place as her. I'm polite to her because of my mother-in-law. And after spending over $4,000 on her wedding, even though my husband and I make enough to live comfortably and provide for our daughter, it was a lot of money. I know I will never get an apology from her because she's perfect and can't do no wrong. So, am I the asshole?
I took my fiance home to meet my family and I left with no fiance. I got engaged this year to a man that I've been with for 3 years now, and it was heavenly bliss until he met my family. We went to meet my family because it was really important to my fiance to get their blessing. I honestly didn't care either way, but I just did it to make him happy. And everyone seemed genuinely happy for us. Before the trip was over, my older brother suggested that we all go on a little siblings and fiance trip up north to a cabin so that my siblings could get to know my fiance away from my parents. And I was a little bit reluctant because I don't typically spend this much time at home with my family. I agreed to go. Everything was going so well that I finally started to let my guard down and actually enjoy being with my siblings and hanging out with everyone. But this is where it starts to get crazy. The day before this vacation was over, everything changed. My sister and her husband were on their 17th fight of the day. It was only 11 a.m. and her husband left and stormed out, and my sister just stayed there crying, bawling her eyes out. I suggested that we should all go on a hike to clear everyone's heads since my sister was obviously not in a good mood, and my husband suggested that it just be us siblings that go, so my husband stayed back at the cabin while we went on a hike. Early on in the hike, my sister said that she really just wanted to go back to the cabin, and I offered to walk her back, and she said no, she just wanted to walk back alone and clear her mind. After the hike was over, my brother and his wife really wanted to keep exploring, but I really just wanted to go back to the cabin and shower and see my fiance. By the time I got back to the cabin, my sister was apparently going home, but her car was still outside. I just kind of ignored that because I thought maybe she was deciding to leave that night instead. I walked into the cabin and I started hearing soft moans and I heard a familiar grunt. I went to investigate and I went upstairs where I heard the noises coming from, and I saw my sister and my fiance in the worst way. There they were, literally banging. So I took a picture of what I saw and I quietly went back downstairs. I set my ring on the kitchen counter and then I sent the picture to my family group chat and turned my phone off. The next day I had 47 missed calls from my family and over 75 missed texts from my fiance. Apparently, my sister's husband was just getting back to the cabin when he opened that picture and saw it, so he wasn't really that nice to my fiance. And honestly, when I sent that picture, I felt very justified because I knew that what they were doing was terrible. But now that I think about it, I feel bad dragging innocent people like my family members and my sister's husband into that. My engagement is over. I removed myself from the family group chat and I haven't talked to anybody about it since. And honestly, for the last few months, I've just kind of felt empty. I really just want to move past this, but I don't know how.
Am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend that he's allowed to sleep with other guys while he's away in the military? Hi everyone, my male 23, boyfriend, male 24, have been dating for 4 years now. He is leaving for the military in 2 weeks. As we're preparing for his departure, one night I brought up the conversation of him being allowed to sleep with other guys while he's away. I know, not from personal experience, but from things I've read, the military is hard for so many men. So I thought by offering this idea to him, he would be allowed to relieve himself when he felt like it. He got up from the dinner table and raised his voice, telling me, quote, "How dare I think he's capable of doing that?" I was honestly surprised and taken back at his reaction because he's very sex-driven. We have sex about 4 days out of the week because he wants to. He went to our room and has been giving me the cold shoulder for a couple of days. I talked to my best friend, female 23, and explained the situation, and she thought that maybe he might have taken it as if I wanted an open relationship. In no way am I trying to sleep with other men while he's away. Not very sex-driven. Just giving him that option in case he really wants to have sex with anyone while he's away. So that way he won't feel guilty or having thoughts that he cheated. I don't know what to do because I don't want him leaving to the military without this issue being resolved. This is our first big fight. Update. Hello everyone. Again, OP here. After reading y'all's comments on the original post, I have seen where I went wrong bringing this topic up and how it could have been taken. And now I agree I messed up really, really bad. I've asked him if he's willing to go for breakfast tomorrow at his favorite place, and he agreed. Before anything, I did tell him I wanted to talk about the whole permission situation as to not blindside him, and he agreed. I will take the advice of commenters and 1, apologize and take full responsibility of how it was wrong of me assuming the worst, and 2, will indeed kiss up to him. I have a full day of activities we both like if breakfast goes well. I will keep y'all updated on how it goes. Update 2. Not the update I thought I would be giving, but here it goes. We went for breakfast on Saturday. It was going well until I brought up the topic. I told him I wanted to apologize for the comment I made last time. And I know I shouldn't have said that because now that I look back, it shows very mixed emotions and the delivery sucked. He said, and I quote, "It's okay. I guess I overreacted because it took away the thrill." I asked him what he meant by thrill. He said that he was potentially going to try it one time just to see how it was, but now wouldn't. He just wanted to see how it would be. I got taken aback, almost spitting out my drink, since I never thought he had thought about it previously. I left it at that. We finished our breakfast and just left home. I hadn't told him about all of the other activities, so he didn't know. I'm not sure if I'm overreacting since I had given him permission initially, which I